Hi everyone. So this video is going to go over your final poster submission. So at the end of the semester, there's two main project or main assignments to submit that count for a good portion of your grade. And that's your final paper and your final poster. So the poster is designed as a way to kind of present your work as a whole and also in a concise manner where you could kind of take this to a conference or something like that and disseminate your work. For us, you're not actually going to be presenting the poster. You're just going to be creating it and submitting it as your assignment. So let's go ahead and talk through the assignment sheet here. So looking at the assignment here, it kind of goes down and breaks up how you're going to go about doing this. Generally speaking, when we talk about building or making this poster, we're not doing any printing. We're not actually making the poster in that way. How we make posters is by using something like PowerPoint or Google Slides. And we just make one slide, and that one slide becomes our poster. So when you're going through this process, make sure that you just use one slide and that you get everything to fit on that one slide. It can be a challenge, and that's why we have to kind of pick and choose and be concise, but we do have to build it on one slide so that if we were to print it, it would be a single poster. Like I said, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Google Slides. Either way, you just need to be building this as one singular slide. Again, some general tips and information about building this. You want to make sure you're as concise as possible. So bullet points are a good thing. And just kind of make sure that you are touching on the most important points while also not spending so much space just with text. In terms of formatting, there's not a lot of things you need to pay attention to, especially since you aren't actually printing this out. But the main thing to keep in mind, like I said before, make sure this is just one slide and you get everything on that single slide. In terms of submitting, make sure that you submit this as either a PDF or a PowerPoint file so that I can open it and access it. There is also a rubric here you can see, which breaks down where all the points are going to come from. So primarily, you're going to be assessed on the major sections of your paper. So the intro, method, results, discussion, making sure that you include the things here in this rubric, but also on your references and overall visual presentation of the poster. So does it look nice? Is it clean? Is it easy to read? Things like that. You'll also probably want to save space for things like graphs and tables. And so this is where you really need to kind of pick and choose and be concise with what you're including while meeting all of the requirements. There are two example posters here that you guys can use as a reference. I'm going to open those up and we'll kind of talk through those real quick here. So here's the first example poster. It was done very well. It has a lot of really good components, enough detail to meet all of the criteria for the assignment, while also trying to be concise when possible. Notice also that the graphs, they were able to fit quite a few graphs and that they did so kind of in a unique way, saving some center space for that, also including some up in the top. But their text isn't so small that it's impossible to read. One other thing they did, which you can see down here in the corner, is that they included a QR code for their references on a separate page. That's the one thing I'm okay with you doing, is if you have a second page for your references and you link to it in some way. But I thought this one did a really good job and the poster turned out very well. Here's another poster that I thought they did a very good job on. And you can notice that, again, very different color scheme, different kind of feel to this, but they still have all of the required components. They detailed enough of what they were explaining while also saving space for graphs and visuals and things like that. They also did the QR reference there. You can see at the bottom. So that is a way to help save space if you need to. If you do decide to include your references on the poster, make sure that they are, well, either way you have them, whether it's through the QR code or on the poster, make sure that they're still formatted in APA format. If you have them on the poster, you can kind of decrease the font size a little bit, again, to help save space. But generally make sure that you include all of those things. And again, I thought these two posters were very good examples to show that you could use as an idea for what yours should ultimately look like at the end. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea of how to go through building your poster and kind of making it. Again, you can play around in PowerPoint or Google Slides and just kind of go through and create these shapes and these text boxes to kind of build the sections of the poster. If you have any questions, always reach out. Happy to help, happy to answer anything I can.